welcome to No Concessions Sessions, episode 31. We're really blessed and excited to have our first Grammy winning artist here.
Woo!
And you could tell the level of professionalism. You're having a debate about what type of instrument we've made this table with.
We sure are.
What was it called?
Euphonium.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You know, you're playing Fiddles and Fifths. Thank you for coming out to play that.
Yeah, man.
Really excited that we were partnering with the town to create that event.
Yeah,
And,
man, you guys have rolled out the red carpet. There's a ton of people out there.
Yeah, it's wonderful. You all are perfect for the theme, which is, you know, the roots country, bluegrass influenced music that we have in these mountains.
Word.
Low Water's wrapping up their set now.
And there are some people that like fifths in this band.
Oh, lots of fifths.
as well.
Yes.
So I'm just putting that out there.
Musically, too.
Musically, too, yes.
Yeah, a little whiskey at the end of doing this business. We're on the other side of it. You're on the stage, and we're behind the scenes
Right
quite a
on.
bit here. But a little bit of whiskey at the end of the day is a great respite from this, you know.
It's medicinal.
Medicinal.
Yes, and this is the first podcast we've had in our new concept, 18th Rebellion.
It's beautiful.
We're proud to
awesome.
say you were the first people to consume food down here.
was
and,
great.
And it was
uh,
delicious
yeah.
as
sit
well.
at the table.
Muy
Awesome.
bien.
Yep.
Kudos to the chef.
Yes.
So hopefully, when you make your rounds again, I know you go to the Birchmere
We
often on in a
I
cycle
think
there.
November this year, maybe.
Yep.
But if you again this way, we hope that we'll pull out the red carpet for you. And let
Absolutely.
you
We
hang out
will
in
look
here.
you up.
I'm serious. And then also, Tammy was saying that you played on Tony Logue's album, who's been on our podcast before and performed here several times,
Oh, I love Tony. He's awesome.
which is ironic.
Small world.
Yeah, the second female artist and performer to be on our podcast. The other one was playing your work, which is
Right
awesome.
on.
What a small world.
I'm a little bit older than her. In this dim lighting, I'm sure
The
I
lighting
don't
is
look
perfect. Yes, the little candles lit here.
It's beautiful.
This is our 100-year-old Resto Mod Speakeasy home.
It's really cool,
soundproofing.
man.
Yeah.
I would come here a lot if I lived here.
Nice.
I like it.
It would be dangerous.
Do you all reside in Nashville? Or?
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Yep.
And forgive me, I've only really been listening to bluegrass outside of church. You know, I grew up in East Tennessee, and that was part of our music scene.
No
in
way.
Bristol.
Where were you from?
I was born in Bristol. Lived quite a while in Johnson
Okay.
City, and then went to high school again in the Bristol area.
Because
I thought you
I'm
were going
from
to say
East Tennessee.
Rogersville.
What part?
That's why we're getting along so well.
We're authentic people.
Authentic people.
She's
Yes.
got her own town.
Yeah, I do have my own town. I was born in Rogersville.
I had to play middle school football against a team in Rogersville.
Yeah.
And they were near a water plant or something.
Yeah.
And
She
it
was
was
a cheerleader.
TRW? No, I wasn't.
Pom-pom.
No.
yeah,
Yeah, my daughter's at ETSU right now in Johnson City.
that's
So,
amazing.
yeah.
A lot of my friends went to ETSU.
Yeah. It's a great school. She's really happy there. It's very cool.
Yeah, what a small world.
I know. Wow.
Have y'all played Rhythm and Roots?
Many
Mucho
times.
time, yeah.
Love
Sweet.
that. That's a great festival.
We played in Bristol a lot.
A lot. Mhm.
You know, that is a model that we used when we collaborated with the EDA for the Fiddles and Fifths as
Great.
what the future for this festival could be.
Wow.
That's a
Yeah,
great
that's a good one to
goal. That's a
pattern
really
after,
great
yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
You know, Patsy Cline was from Winchester.
I don't know if I realized
that.
that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She is.
Lynn Morris and Marshall Wilburn lived here. I think they may still live here. And they're
Okay.
long
Bluegrass
time
icons.
bluegrass icons. So
Wow.
if you're not familiar with their music, check them out because they
Okay.
were awesome.
You all excited about this new album? I got a chance to listen to it. Tougher Than Nails.
What do you think about it?
Don't put them on the spot or anything.
You love it, right?
No, yeah. I really liked.
the greatest thing you've ever heard.
Somewhere Down the road.
Yeah.
Yes.
That song, I
Thank
really
you.
love that song. That really was a great piece. And then the rendition of Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
You know, that song's been done so many times, but you put a fresh take on it without changing it from its like original foundation and purpose. It still captured that history of the song, which is super cool.
It's very mountainy.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah, and you know, the classic gospel hits. I was looking under a piano that my mother had left me, a bald one, and in the seat, you know, I opened it up and there was this card there that said the Blue Willow was made by the Cash family.
Oh,
But here are
wow.
original written hymns with the Carter family.
Oh, wow.
So my family, the Wissenhut side, my great grandfather was a traveling minister, and they traveled with musicians, and they would write hymns. And I'm pretty sure I'd have to get one of those like fact finder type historian types to determine. Did the Carter family handwrite these that I have? Is that why they were saved under here? And I was told to check later, but
well,
I guess June Carter was the famous Carter. I don't know.
No, it was
June
actually
Carter was married to
Maybelle.
Johnny,
Yeah,
Okay.
She was
the second generation.
Yeah.
Yep. But it was AP and Sarah and Maybelle, that the original Carter family that recorded in the 20s in Bristol that you're probably referencing. And AP was actually more of a collector than a writer.
Okay.
I mean, he took credit for a lot of songs, but it's been studied and documented now that he actually collected more and wrote down, like from other ministers
Sure.
and preachers in the area and people that were, reciting poetry and passing down a lot of old songs. I mean, like Wildwood Flower, they've traced that back to England now.
Wow.
So he took credit for writing a lot of that, and I'm sure he did write some, but in many ways he was more of a collector, collecting other, things from around him. Sorry, not to get off. I'm a nerd.
The way you
that
articulate,
stuff.
how did you learn all these things? Have you been a professor of music or
I
music
was.
history? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I taught at Belmont University there in Nashville for about 15 years. And growing up in East Tennessee, my grandmother had the Carter family records. So those are some of my earliest musical memories are listening to those records when I was 7 or 8. And I've just been a huge Carter family fan. And in recent years, I did another deep dive into their stuff. And so, yeah, I'm a nerd. Sorry.
Oh, no, I love
They
it.
also still, I don't know if they still do it. It may be over now, but a few years ago, they were still having shows at the Carter
the
family
Carter family
fold.
fold. I think they still do.
So I don't
Yeah.
know. Who's left? Joe and Jeanette are gone. aren't
They're
they, by now?
gone, but I think their children are still.
Kids are taking it on.
Yeah.
So we've all played that. It's just it's like going back in time.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing.
You all just brought all this information to me. I had no idea what this was.
You have
It's
to do
really
a
a
road
cool
trip.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's really
awesome.
cool down there.
Yeah, I look forward to going back home at least a couple times a year. It changes so rapidly when I go back.
Yeah.
Playing the Carter family fold, you had to put in so many fiddle tunes in your set.
And if you didn't have a fiddle player, they would appoint you
Yeah,
one.
because they would listen to the singing songs, but the fiddle songs came on and they all came down.
They all danced.
And danced.
There was a big
right in front
flat
of the stage. It was
clogging,
great.
flat foot, whatever
It's
you
like
want to
going
call
back
it.
into the 1930s or
Yeah,
20s or
it's
10s
awesome.
or something.
Oh, that's
It was,
beautiful.
Yeah.
A band that you all sound well, I guess they sound a little like you. Is Town Mountain.
Yeah,
We've
we know
had
those
them
guys.
here, and I would say with no disrespect to the artists that we've had here, but I just when you're sitting at the sound booth and you're looking at it from a different perspective, the level of musicianship, Town Mountain's pretty up there.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
great.
The Steelwoods were up there. They're two guitarists.
Yeah, I like those guys.
Very rock
Yeah.
driven, but still roots. But I'm thinking you all up here on the block are going to be pretty impressive as far as musicianships. I just feel like I'm in the presence of people that are expert level on
Have you
this
been
thing.
drinking?
No, that was the first sip I've had today.
Let's hit
All
those
right.
fifths. I
Yeah.
think that's what it is.
Now I don't go to the Brown until
We like the
after
Town
I'm ready to
Mountain
get out
boys.
of town.
Where did we? They were with us in Montana one time. for
Maybe
a few
so,
shows.
yeah.
That immigrant thing.
Yeah,
They
I
were
think
there.
so. They were very cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good fellas.
How did you all come about? How did this band form?
Well,
Tell me, my silent partner.
Okay.
Mike, you
Speak up,
you-
Mike.
you
Mike, tell
speak.
us the history of the band. How did you become the SteelDrivers?
Well, we were all recruited by Mike Henderson, who was our former mandolin player.
Okay.
He
And
knew.
slide player.
So we say it was his fault.
Yeah, it's his fault. He knew everybody. He knew Chris. He was writing with Chris. He knew Tammy because he had played with Tammy and
Back in the
Reckoning.
90s.
the Reckoners.
Dead Reckoning.
I
yeah.
went to college with him and played in bluegrass bands in the 70s. And Brent knew him probably just
I
from
knew
being
him.
around.
Yeah.
So he and Richard knew him, the banjo player. So he just recruited everybody, and some of us knew each other. And really, they had a cachet of songs, and they wanted to kind of get a band together to play once a week to try to promote those songs and to make $50 a piece.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was literally, just kind of going to be a fun side thing. and Mike Henderson still does a weekly blues gig at the Bluebird, and I think he was kind of wanting to do a similar thing at the Station Inn, for bluegrass, and it just kind of took off and went way beyond that, in a hurry. So it was
people
cool
would
thing.
come. People started coming because they just liked the music and the songs. And I know we started doing. We learned like one not original song, but cover song, and then they trotted out a couple more songs, and it's like, well, heck, let's
do
forget those. Let's just do
let's do these originals
songs.
because they were
Yeah.
so darn good, and
it just got the attention of people, and then a label.
Kind of like an open jam that became, I guess.
Yeah. Well, a lot of, I think as somebody who wasn't in the band then, I think Henderson's blues influence really influenced the band. That's why we have a bluesy bluegrass vibe, because that's where he came out of.
Yeah.
He's a blues guitarist, basically.
What
He
scaling?
played a little bit of mandolin.
What scaling or key creates that feeling that's different between, you say, blues influence and not?
It's not
just
really
darker.
a particular
It's like more
scale or
blue
key.
notes
Yeah,
and-
it's more flat threes and flat sevens.
Right.
Keys, the key of E is great for blues if
Yeah.
you're a guitar player. Because you got a lot of
Opens.
open
stuff.
strings, and you can go from your big string to your little string without getting out of the key. So I don't know, but
As
but
far
great-
as your lyrics and content, how do you all write today? How's that work?
it's mainly Tammy today. She's taken over where Chris and Mike left off. So
Okay.
Yep.
And when you say Chris, you're referring to Chris Stapleton?
yeah.
Yes.
So what was that like? Seeing him move forward to his next level of his career and so on.
It was awesome.
We love it,
I mean, Chris.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy, and he was super fun. At that point in his life, he really hadn't toured much, and we had some great times. And I'm still in touch with him, and I'll text him something. Every band, and I don't care who you are, every band has their own little inside jokes
Sure.
and language that they communicate. We came up with this term health drink.
Okay.
And, if I happen to text him, hey, congratulations, have a health drink, he knows exactly what that means. That means cranberry and vodka.
Yeah, because cranberries are healthy
Because,
for you.
good for your
cranberry is
kidneys.
good
Yeah.
vitamin C.
Sure.
And so just silly stuff like that.
It's
But
medicinal.
it is, so we still laugh at that stuff, and had the opportunity to hang out with him for a few weeks, and we had a ball, so I know he's still very proud of the records that we did and the band and all that stuff, and I heard him when he won, I think it was Song of the Year or the Grammy for Song of the Year, and he and Henderson, I mean, he completely said, I learned how to songwrite with this man right here. And, so he's very humble about all that stuff.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Very good dude.
As far as I could tell, as far as his impact on fashion and the way this roots look happened, and he was the first one that I saw from not being delved into the music like I am here now in the Appalachian parts of the valley here in the Shenandoah. But now all the guys look like that. Like it's like
Trendsetter.
between him
you know.
and Yellowstone Show, it's like
Yeah.
they combine, and then that's
What
the
did he call it?
new
What
rock
did he
and
call it
roll.
when his hillbilly regalia? Is that what
Yeah,
he
well, that was a term from Fleming, I
Was that
think.
you
And
that came up
Henderson,
with
they
that?
called it
I heard him
hillbilly
say it,
regalia.
Yeah, well, he got it.
He stole it from
picked
you.
up. Yeah,
But
sure.
all that kind of stuff. It was just, and he came out with that crazy hat with the big,
Yeah,
feather
that
thing
was
on it.
all.
it all evolved with the steel
through-
drivers, kind
through
of
time.
his hat, and
Yeah.
and then he kept growing his hair because
Yeah,
his hair
he had
was
hair.
it just kept growing, and his beard kept growing.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
I mean, the thing about Chris is he really is what you see is what you get.
Yeah,
100%.
And he was determined, even when he was with the SteelDrivers, it was like, this, take it or leave it. This is who I am, what I do, how I sing, how I play.
Yeah.
And he's still that way. So
Respect. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
How many of the original members are still in this band?
3.
Okay.
Yep. So we've
Tammy,
got
you.
and Richard again. He's kind of on medical leave this
Okay.
fall.
right.
But yeah, Brent came in
really.
in 2012.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
I subbed for a year.
And he
too, for a
subbed
part of
earlier
the
than
year,
that.
Yeah.
So he feels like he's almost an original.
I say.
2009, I think, was my first
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been on every record since the first two. I mean,
Yeah.
and
Something that's parallel, it sounds like, from this music scene, this traditional music scene, is that there's a go-go music scene, and I don't know if you're a historian on music, you may know, but it originated out of Washington D.C. And it's 100% pretty much African American music, and made from the people in that district, Maryland. They call it the DMV. Drum heavy, percussion heavy. But I learned that a band would start with a name, right? And you might have, then they have like 9 to 10 people in their bands. But that
Nobody
band
makes any money that way.
I know. I tried. We got in a little argument when I was talking about points. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, "What's this guy talking to me?" It sounded like I was talking down to him or something. But it was out of all respect, just for them to capitalize on their artwork. But it'll go from generation to generation. So, like, your granddad could have started a go-go band,
Oh, wow.
and you could be the grandson, and now you're in that same
in your
band.
band. Wow,
And it'll still have a
that's cool.
core foundation, a couple of group members.
Wow.
But that's interesting.
It
so
is interesting.
that's really interesting.
if you were following that path, your children and their children would be the SteelDrivers at some point in the future, and your
think that's
and your
gonna
music
happen.
would live forever.
But
That would be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen.
yeah,
Yeah,
There's something
yeah.
about being a professional musician's child that they see all the
The backup,
the
yeah.
non-fun
Like,
stuff.
no, not
I
doing
don't
that.
think my kid's musical, but I don't think he'll.
Yeah.
I don't
What do you
he'll go
think the
there.
hardest thing about being a touring musician and professional is?
In my opinion, is the traveling.
It's the travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I would
play for
say-
free. We get paid to travel, pretty
Right.
much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say being away from home, you know, those sacrifices that you think truck drivers make and
Definitely truck
people
drivers make.
people in the military make and such. It's like when God gives you the gift of song and you really use it and you're blessed to have an income from it, I guess that's the big sacrifice.
It's a
you know?
trade-off for
And,
sure.
yeah,
is.
So
You
It
miss
is,
ball
for sure.
games.
You miss birthdays.
Yeah.
You know.
I think I've
you
missed
miss
almost every
anniversaries.
birthday of his.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
son. Yeah.
And the only thing we don't miss is like weddings and. Well, we haven't had any, luckily, from funerals, but
Sure.
you know, weddings
Yeah.
and birth of children, things like that. It's
my-
Otherwise,
All our kids are fine with us not being at their birthday parties.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Well, they know. You know. I mean, it's
they grew up
flexible.
like that. They know.
You know, it's a day.
Yeah.
what you're making, in essence, it's going to change maybe format from time to time in the next 100 years or so. But you've written songs that will be discussed in, and that art will live forever.
I sure hope
it's
so.
immortal.
That'd be
You
great.
know,
Be nice to
it's
think
the beautiful
that.
thing about it, and the messages behind it.
We feel really blessed that we have the fans that we have.
Yes,
They're just
we
so
sure do.
loyal and
Yeah, we don't take
Energetic
anything for
and-
credit.
Yeah.
You know, those people that I'm still surprised that people show up and see us.
I know it's crazy.
Well,
And
I
it's
might be
just-
in a bubble. I don't know because I'm so drawn to the roots music and had a lot of success with it here at the Monument in Winchester. But it seems that there's a resurgence and maybe a rejection from young people from the electric synthesized
You are
artificial
correct.
music
Oh,
to this
absolutely.
music.
I agree.
You've noticed?
Yeah,
I think
Oh,
so.
definitely. We've
Okay.
been playing in Montana quite a bit, and usually it's 1,000 to 1,500 people, and the first, as far as you can see, are young people.
Right.
You know, as far as the light shows the crowd,
Sure.
it's been great.
Yeah, you'll notice that today, and it's
Great.
very lively, hip-looking kids out here for it.
I keep telling my son, you should go on the road with us so you could, just,
See how
see
cool
these
we
young
are.
hot chicks.
Yeah, I mean, there is. You take this is the SteelDrivers. There's gonna be a lot of hot chicks. There's hot chicks.
Yeah,
guys.
no kidding. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
They all stand in front of the banjo player. It's really strange.
That's because
I noticed that.
I'm on that side.
That's because you're standing over there, Ron. Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, I know y'all have to perform soon. Really love the traditional gospel sound of the record that you
Thank
just
you.
put out,
Thank you.
and I think you did a great job on that.
Tammy wrote everything that's not traditional on that record.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
her and her buddies. So
It's good.
it's all on her.
And Tougher Than
Huh.
Nails. That you wrote that? Oh, it's
Yeah.
Killer, isn't it?
Yeah.
it's good.
Well, my whole idea, when we came up with this, it was so out of left field. Oh, the SteelDrivers, because we were known as the Bluegrass Party Band. You know?
Yeah.
So to do a gospel record, which I thought was really a great come out of left field, it would really catch people off guard. But beyond that, shock factor was the idea of, we can write these songs where they sound like SteelDriver songs.
Yeah.
And so that there's no honestly, if somebody puts on Tougher Than Nails, if they're not really listening to the lyric, they're not going to know it's a gospel song.
Right.
So that was, at least from the stuff that I wrote, that was done by intent. It's like, how can we write these songs?
You were bringing the grit to the gospel.
I was definitely bringing the grit to the gospel. That's right.
Well, I like Tougher Than Nails as a title and a theme of a song and the story behind it because
Absolutely.
There's quite a bit of moxie in the lyrics, and I think there should be.
Yeah.
Because this is a great victory for us so that we can live.
Absolutely.
And have
Yeah.
life. So it doesn't need to be, it
Right.
can be, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, the one thing that I think we realized, or I know I realized a while back, was our most requested song is still to this day Where Rainbows Never Die,
Wow.
which is arguably a gospel song.
Yeah.
If you listen to that lyric, it doesn't mention heaven. It doesn't use the terminology, God or Jesus or Lord or any of that. But the meaning is we're going there.
Sure.
There's a place beyond. And it's a spiritual song, and it cuts across all ages, all backgrounds. It's the power of that song has been unbelievable. And we see it every night. We typically, if we get an encore, that's our encore.
Nice.
And we'll see, drunk college guys out there, swaying and singing along at the top of their lungs, crying. And then we'll see the 80-year-old man out there in a seat singing along. So it doesn't have to be labeled any, the thing. So that's what I was going for, at least.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I joke around with my family and friends about this, but I do believe Jesus himself came down from heaven to write Stranglehold with Uncle Ted. Because when you get to that one part of the song, some people think they got to die someday. I got news, you never got to go.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if I were in heaven,
Yeah.
that's a good song. All right, y'all. You got to get your mind right, get
Yep,
your
we
body
gotta
right,
get- we
maybe
gotta
do your
get
yoga or
right.
whatever to get out there and
I
kick
got to
some
get my
ass.
lipstick on.
I really
Get my
appreciate
wig
y'all.
did.
Yeah. Tammy's wearing your pants.
I know. Look at that. What are you going to
Get my
wear?
Love them boots. Look good.
Thank you.
Those are really Fleming's pants.
He got into embroidery during the COVID lockdown.
I did a
He
good
can,
job
he can
on
needle
those.
point like nobody. You should see his crochet work.
That's awesome.
We have no fun at all.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
having
guys.
us.
This has been
You having
fun.
us here. This has been great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hate these, but this was fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I try just to. We did it 30 times in a row. That was the main thing. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
You'll get more comfortable. No script. No,
Yeah,
just
I
free
love that you
form.
don't have any papers. That's
Well,
great.
tell
Yeah.
your chef that he missed it. This was fun.
I know it's one of those sacrifices we make for the team
He's
sometimes.
busy making food.
Yeah.
Right on.
But that's what you're doing for the economy of Winchester today. Is everybody's in town
That's
Awesome.
good.
buying
Great.
some
That's
food and
good.
beer and whiskey.
Yeah.
Right on.
All right, y'all have a great
Thanks for
show.
that.
All
All
right.
right, thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
It's not just the new venue in town. It's a monument to live entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
The Monument, the new premier concert and event venue in Winchester. 2 stories, state-of-the-art sound, delicious food and drink, and the best in live events. The Monument, on the corner of Loudon and Piccadilly in Winchester, and right at the cutting edge of live entertainment. Go to themonumentva.com. That's themonumentva.com for events, tickets, special offers, and more. The Monument. We'll see you at the next show.